the Texas Rangers. Man, there is a lot of good and a lot of bad this weekend.
They turned it around, baby. They turned it all around.
Is debatable, right. But I will bring a positive spin to start. The Texas Rangers have won.
I don't know what else you can say, dude. They're in first place.
They are. The other team that they're also in first place with just fired their general manager. So,
you think that that's going to fire the Astros up? And they're like, we can't wait to be with this new guy.
Not really. By the way, so you won 2 straight series.
Right.
Now, it is true. The 2 teams you won those 2 straight series against have a combined record of 113 and 150.
But you couldn't beat them.
Yeah, it's true. And you just got worked by the Angels in the last series. You have also won, for the Rangers, 3 of their last 4. So positive there. However, as this is like the biggest compliment sandwich you've ever seen. Before Sunday's game, the Rangers had lost on Saturday 3-0. And they got 1 hit. And as Evan Grant astutely pointed out, that meant it had been 4 straight games against the Angels. 4 in which you did not score in the first 9 innings.
Dude, and for whatever reason...
And they are not good.
They cannot hit Ryan Johnson. Like that, and I don't know if it's his funky delivery or what it is about him, but they cannot touch this dude. And it's irritating. I mean, maybe it's because he's DBU, Dallas Baptist. They were like, hey, we can't hit off that guy. I mean, this is a hometown hero.
So, and it is weird for him specifically because Ryan Johnson has a 1.69 ERA this month. In large part because of facing the Texas Rangers 2 of those times, because the month before his ERA was 7.89. But yes, that was the 4th straight game in which the Rangers could not score a run in the first 9 innings against the Angels. If you were thinking, well, maybe the Angels are just really good at that. The Angels have given up the 10th most runs in baseball this season, so not really. Let's go back to Friday night's game. We played how it all ended, but in the 9th inning, you get a leadoff double. I think it was Ezekiel Duran, leadoff double. So, man on second, no outs, can't score, can't win the game. You might think it doesn't matter because they did win the game, but those are the kind of things that I think drive Skip, fans, and just general people around this organization a little crazy.
That's what I'm going to ask Skip this on Wednesday because we have him every Wednesday at 12:20, right. Mostly. Because there have been some weird schedules this year. But I'm going to ask him on Wednesday. I think as a fan, the most frustrating thing about this is we haven't been able to get a good read on this team. Does anybody have a clue what this team is?
Yeah.
And maybe he does. And maybe he's like, that's exactly how I wanted it to be. I can't believe it. I would be like, what? Or maybe he's like, no, I actually am having a hard time too, but, this is why we fight together and win these games and become brothers and all that stuff. But that's the most frustrating thing is you just can't get a good judge of whether this team is about to run or what, and if they're back to being good offensively or if they're a blanked team.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, but the pitching, and you're like, crap. So you just don't know. But hey, man, you got a shot. That's all that we're riding on right now.
And that's the thing. It is fascinating to see more and more national writers coming around and being like, hold on, what's happening in that division? I believe they have.
But Ezekiel Duran he's still your guy?
Oh, yeah.
Like that dude's been one of the one positives that we could say has been there all year.
Yeah, I mean, and look, one of the other positives, Josh Jung obviously has fallen to the wayside when it comes to injuries. Jacob Latz continues to be just absolutely unfreaking believable. But you're looking at a division in which you are tied for first place. Nobody has a record of even 500, let alone better than 500. And the run differential, I believe, is minus 408. So this is clearly the worst division in baseball. I would have to take a look some more, but it feels like one of the worst divisions in the history of baseball. But
was it the other day when all 3 of the teams were minus 46?
That is correct.
Awesome.
So, you've seen some movement there. Not with the Rangers, they're still minus 46. But the Mariners continue to just be the most disappointing team in all of baseball. And if you look at the history of this Texas Rangers team, I know we've raised expectations with the back-to-back World Series trips in 10 and 11, with the back-to-back divisional titles and playoff appearances in 15 and 16, and then with winning the World Series in 2023. But just everything in between that, from 2017 to now, that's your playoff appearance, is winning the World Series. That's your above 500 record, is winning the World Series. So, good. I'm glad this division sucks because I'm here for it. The trade deadline already passed. You can't restock your farm system now. So, might as well just keep on freaking going for it. And thank you to the AL West for helping facilitate that.
It'll be okay. I think it's going to be all right. Look here, Kevin, from the 940. Next 2 weeks, the White Sox, the Brewers, and the Rays, and then we go to Seattle. Everything's going to be just fine.
Yeah, and I don't really totally understand that text either.
Yeah, the White Sox are first in their division.
True.
The Rays are first in their division.
They have won 3 of their last 10 games.
The Brewers are first in their division.
The Brewers are really good.
And then the Seattle Mariners, we're really good in Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, we've been better against Seattle this year, but I didn't really understand that text because the White Sox are not particularly too much better than you. The Brewers are awesome. That is big facts. The A's, they're awful. The Rays, they have been playing awful as of late. Seattle, you've done better against them this year than you have in several years. So I do not think that the schedule looks particularly daunting whatsoever. But then again, that's when the Rangers like to throw you off. Every time you think they're done for, they excel. And when they excel, they're really done for.
Well, Kevin, the run differential between the White Sox and the Rangers, is that a 4? Is that 103?
Sure, but I don't know how much that's really relevant because it just matters about winning the games. And the Chicago White Sox have a slightly better record than you, but I can't say they're playing particularly better than you. So I'm not really concerned about the White Sox themselves. I'm concerned about the Rangers on a day-to-day basis and how I don't know if they'll get more than one hit or if they'll shut somebody out.
Yeah.
It goes all over the place. Yesterday's game, though, that was clearly the most encouraging of the series. A lot of really good stuff happening in that game. First of all, the squad was showing love to the Berger Family Foundation. They had their second annual Down Syndrome Awareness Day. And then you find out that Jake Berger said he dodged a bullet because
he didn't have a broken wrist.
Yes, and it looked like, especially since that's where he had issues in the past, even after x-rays showed no fracture, it seemed unlikely he would avoid the injured list because it was right kind of where that scar was last year. Not only did he not go on the injured list, he was back out there and playing yesterday. You know what? If we're mentioning people who have had unbelievable impacts this season, Cal Quantrill, again. His ERA is down to 2.9. He has 5 straight starts of 5+ innings, allowing 1 or 0 earned runs, which unfortunately at times with this offense, that feels like the only way that you're going to win. Yesterday was not one of those days, but Cal Quantrill has been infinitely better than I thought.
It is kind of a weird place to be because would you consider him in a rotation in the playoffs if you had DeGrom and Evaldi healthy? And when you're looking at Mackenzie Gore, who you've not been able to rely on but is a lefty.
Right.
Bradford, who is a lefty also, but just now kind of getting his feet under him. Quantrill's done everything that you've asked of him all season. I think the one thing you would know is if you had to send him back to the bullpen, he'd say okay and he'd go deliver there too. But getting starts like this for him, this is awesome.
There was a time, especially when Bradford came back and when Montgomery came back, and I realized Bradford has been pitching, but Cal Quantrill was going to be the guy they were going with. And I was like, that is an interesting decision. I really thought Montgomery was going to get a shot, but now that looks like a foolish thought to even have because Cal Quantrill has been just freaking unbelievable. Now let's talk about the pitching staff as a whole. Texas starters have given up 3 or fewer runs now in a season-high 13 straight games.
Okay.
Going back to August 10th. And then there's Skip to kind of contextualize it for everybody. It's been really good. That's why it's frustrating to have our offense go cold when these guys have picked it up and we've really needed it. Because you're right, first place. But how many of those games do you look at and you're like, man, we really should have been able to win that game based on what our starting pitcher was able to do.
Or we should have been able to blow them out.
Fair.
Yeah, let's be like Ben Johnson and be like, hey, let's not... 3 runs isn't good enough, guys. Let's blow them out of the water here today.
Man, you know what? I'm going to go do a study. I'm going to see what the all-time record is for most runs scored in a season.
1,000.
And look at where the Rangers are and see how many runs they would have to score per game.
For the rest of the way?
In these last 31 games?
100 runs a game.
Probably, actually, at this point. So it ends up being a net positive for the Rangers as they move into the tie for first place. But once again, we said this was the largest compliment sandwich in the world. Josh Jung. Josh Jung.
Back. Oh, no.
He started jogging again.
There we go.
Did not participate in on-field activities on Friday, and Schumacher said he was probably still a couple of weeks away.
Okay.
And when you hear that, you're like, but by a couple of weeks, do you mean like...
We got to get to the playoffs, guys.
Yeah, actually a little bit.
And maybe that'll... So he's not going to be there on Monday for me.
Definitely not.
All right.
And it looks like we're going to get more from Jack Leiter. He had a tough rehab start that we talked about last week. Skip Schumacher said he described it as grindy. And he had a bullpen session this weekend, and then they're going to go from there.
You're not particularly hoping your dude is grinding at the minor league level.
No.
You want him to go out there and make some clean work and be like, all right, get me back up to the bigs real fast.
Yes, that is exactly correct.